Hi everyone, it's Nathara, and today I'm going to be going over the Encore Light Chase Daybreak Abyss. I did 391 pulls on this light chase in total, so I do have everything and plus the decom stuff. First thing up, the hair is gorgeous. I love this hair so much. It actually resembles my real life hair. My real life hair is a bit longer than this, but it's got that same fluffy, almost curly wave to it. The dress is gorgeous. I'm glad they updated it to give it two versions. I love this little necklace. Earrings are cute, though I don't like that the dye slots. There's only two with these, which I'll show later. Love these socks. You see so much. Love these shoes. I love the little bony dragon wings on the back. And the only thing I can't remember, it's something about the crystals on the front. I'll have to look at it again. The horns are cute. I kind of wish though they would have been real horns with this dragon suit. It'd be cool to have real dragon horns, but I mean, I know we've gotten other dragon horns before, so I'm not too upset about it. Decorative ones are cool too. The ring is huge on your hand. The wings are super cool. They're very, very big, and they're a little bit hard to use though. The tattoo is on your front of your chest. It's alright. I don't really use it too much. Of course, the dragon is awesome, and I think that's what most people want out of this banner is this dragon because it has two forms, and you can use it as a mount. I love this facial piece, and the gloves are nice. For our 5-star suit, she's an adorable little Chinese themed suit. Very, very cute. I like the double bracelet and the little puffball earrings. I like this little dumpling box, and I adore these little bun covers. I think they are just so cute. And this little hair thing, I don't use it too much. Same with the socks, but I do use these shoes a fair amount. For our 4-star, she's cute. We hardly ever get long tops that aren't crop tops, as you know. The skirt is so-so. I do like the top, but it is very a little overly decorated for most of the fits that I use, but it is good for those super cutesy looks. I love this hairpiece because now that we can scale it, you can make it really big. For our loose 6-star pieces, we have this little green sprout. I've used that in a few different outfits, but not that often. I like to put it in my doll's mouth, kind of like a chewing piece of wheat almost, if that makes sense. I like these little face bows. I like the idea of the heart monocle sunglasses, but I wish, actually I'll just show you later. I don't want to get too in depth with all of my comments on this part. For our loose 5-star pieces, you get this cute little romper dress, you get this skirt, and this bracelet, this necklace, which has earrings that go with it right here, very cute. And I do like this little X, and if we get another little hair piece, this was the era whenever they were doing all these little goofy little hair clips, which I don't mind, they're kind of cute. I just wish they didn't have the barrette piece on the bottom. And for our makeup, we have these contacts, Broken Flame, the facial paint Abyss Trap, we've got these duotoned contacts, the spider lashes, this card game lipstick, and the hidden gold contacts. And for our ally, we get Rebirth Yearning, Gerald's card. I've actually read the story to this one and it's pretty good. For our decom, you have the opportunity to get the Gemstone Banquet dress. She's big, she's poofy. You can also get this handheld Palace fan. And you can also get these awesome boxing gloves, Ace Advance. For our items, we have the Earl's Dream avatar frame, the Dreamy Forest avatar. She's absolutely lovely. The Chappable Fox's Gaze, the frame Peachy Adventure, the cute effect Flame of Fox, and the effect Ghost Party. And of course, you also get this furniture piece Dragon Leap, and the scene Bamboo Waterfall, which is so gorgeous. I use this scene all the time. She's just so pretty. Here is Gerald's default card and the big pic of his card. The story is actually about a death god and a woman. He ends up, I don't want to spoil it actually. For evolving him, you get this little side bag, Springtime Travel. She is not fully dyeable. There is this rim right here, but the 3 dye slots on it are the base of the bag, the top of the bag, and then your metalwork. So it's not bad, and it is in the handheld category. It's not in the crossbody category, which I would have preferred because it's literally a crossbody bag. But, you know, you win some, you lose some. And before I get too deep into this, I do have the dress styled like this because I wanted to showcase the fact that you can chop off the sleeves of this with specific coats. So I do love that fact. Also, I prefer the dragon in the mini form because I don't like that the hand stays up once it's in big form. And here she is dyed all black in version 1 of the dress. Now the jewels that you see on the bottom, they are dyeable, but they are super like glinty and glossy. And the light on the bottom, you can see like the purple and everything. Everything is dyed the same black, so there is this, it kind of like lightens it almost because it is a light effect on the bottom of the dress. And here's the dress in the other form with the big cage on it. So again, it is just those bottom strands that look like they're not dyeable, but they really are. And then let me take this off. You do have the shoes being undyeable right here. That's what it was about the shoes. It's the crystals. And then this like vine almost, this thorn that you can't dye. I do like that the purple glitter like shifts, but you also can't dye it, so that is a little sad. But I'm going to display the dyes of this dress in this form. Our first dye slot is going to be the bottom skirt, and you can definitely see the orangey tint that it has with it. It's just one of those where if it has the red on it, it's going to have that orange glint. Dye slot 2 is going to be the ombre, as well as some of the roses on the cages and the jewels that spatter throughout. So the ombre with those two together looks like this, and if you have a darker one on top, then you'll see that ombre a bit more and will fade a bit nicely, but with the lighter colors you won't see it as much. Slot 3 is the inner ombre, so same rules apply. The darker the color, the better you'll see that ombre, and the lighter, the less it'll appear. Slot 4 was actually the cage, so it wasn't slot 5, it's slot 4. Slot 5 is your metalwork that goes all around it. It's extremely detailed, and I am really happy that they did update this dress to have a version without the cage, because it does give quite a unique appearance with the cage, making it a little less usable in more circumstances. So I'm happy that we do have a variation without it. Slot 6 is going to be your dust on the bottom and the light that weaves up the bottom. Slot 7 is more boning on the cage. I think it's just on the cage. Slot 8 is your jewels that decorate the skirt, and they do have that glint to them, so they will change colors, which is really nice. Though I don't like that, again, the orange one or the red one gives that orange glint. Slot 9 are your sleeves. Slot 10 is your bodice or corset, and slot 11 is more of your light particles down at the bottom. So with both of those on, it looks like this, and I think that's so stunning. It is gorgeous. I love it so much. Let me show you what it looks like in the other variation really quick. Yeah, she's so pretty. I love it. I love the light effects on the bottom of the dress. It's gorgeous. But moving on to our hair, where there is 2 dye slots. The first is going to be the top half, and there is a very nice ombre that goes down it. It's very lovely. For our socks, you do have 5 dye slots. The first is going to be the stockings. The second is going to be the little vine that winds up. The third is your flowers. The fourth is your leaves. And your fifth is the light that goes around the vines. Again, these are gorgeous socks, and you can't even tell because the dress covers them up. So I really love that they didn't just put like a no sock under here or like some weird nothing sock, and they actually put detail into this so it can work in other outfits and still be like a really great piece. And for our shoes, what I deem to be the most disappointing of this outfit, only because of the dye options on it, or like the lack of dye options. I'd love to be able to dye this little clear thorn branch vine thing. I think that would add so much more creativity to the shoe. But our first dye slot is the base of the shoe. Our second is the ombre on the crystal. Our third is the metalwork. Our fourth are the kind of like gems that go all around. And our fifth is the light particles that come off of the crystals on the front. And here is the shoe in all white. So again, you can have a good amount of customability with it, but if you want to dye those crystals on the front a darker color, it's not going to be the color that you want it to be. It's going to be kind of like a lightened version of it. For our hat, we do have 4 dye slots, the first of which is going to be the light particles of all things. They did this one out of order. There's also some crystals thrown in there. The second is going to be the horns, and it is hard to tell from a distance, but one horn is solid and the other is kind of hollow. Or not kind of hollow, it is definitely hollow. Our third dye slot is going to be the roses and the leaves. And our fourth is going to be the vines. For our facial piece, we do have 4 dye slots. The first is going to be the crystals right here, and then the light particles in the little teardrops. Your second dye slot is going to be the metalwork. Your third is going to be the teardrops. And your fourth is going to be the metalwork and the 2 crystals on the teardrops. For our earrings, again, a little sad that this is true, but there is only 2 dye slots, the first of which is all of your metal and all of your minor crystals, the second of which is the 2 major crystals. For our necklace, we get 4 dye slots, the first is which is the chain and then the decor around the major crystal. The second is the gem, and it does not dye too true. Our third is the twigs that make the necklace and a few of the little kind of like minor pieces, like this little rose and a couple gems. And our fourth are all of the little minor crystals that go around. Again, these are not dyeing true. They're kind of like a lightened version of whatever color you pick. For our little baby dragon, the first dye slot is going to be the main body color. The second is going to be the ombre on the tail and the horns and all the little spines on the back. A very pretty ombre. I think it's super cute. Our third is the back of the wings. Our fourth is the underside of the wings. Our fifth is the eye color. And our sixth is the tongue. And again, this has 2 variations. The dye pattern follows the same pattern as the small version. And let me show you the hand postures. So I don't like this one because the little dragon, whenever you move it around like this, it's fine. But the big one is just like, why are you moving your arm like that? It doesn't make sense. So I wish that whenever you changed to a different variation, they changed the hand postures to match that variation. For our gloves, we do have 4 dye slots, the first of which is your main color. The second is your crystals. And again, the crystals aren't going to dye true up here at least. As you can see right next to those pearls, those are the red that I would want. And then these gems down here actually do dye the correct red. Our third dye slot is all the little chunks of crystals that decorate the glove, which I love. They go all over the finger. It's like the fingers are encrusted in crystals, and that's great. Really pulls in that like dragon horde feel. And your fourth slot is the lining and the pearls on the glove. For our ring, there's 3 dye slots, the first of which is your metal. The second are the 2 crystals, actually 3. And your third are the remaining crystals. And last but not least, our wings. Very decorative wings, of course. I kind of would have liked to have had like actual dragon wings, just like I would have liked to have actual dragon horns. You know, but I don't know why they didn't do that. Like, I would have been perfectly fine if they just plucked the dragon handheld wings off and just plopped them on our doll instead. Like, they have the 3D asset. They can definitely just put them on our doll. I don't know why we got this decorative version of dragon wings. But the first dye slot is going to be your metalwork. Your second is going to be a lot of the crystals. Your third are the bigger crystals. Your fourth are some of the minor crystals that kind of like spider web throughout. And your fifth is the light particles. They do kind of come from the bottom, and they come from the big major crystals as well. And of course, we cannot dye tattoos, but she's alright. I don't use tattoos too much, but this one's a pretty good one. And in case you have not seen what the dragon looks like whenever you use it as a mount, actually do believe this is a dual person mount as well now. I don't know, I'm gonna have to check that. Let me see if I can find someone who's willing to get on this thing with me. Alright, so yeah, it is duo drivable. However, the second character is most definitely very close, which I mean, I guess makes sense. But she's kind of in my hair, so. But yeah, you can go around with 2 dolls on the mount, so that's super awesome. And here's our 5-star suit, Sparrow Chirp. She's super, super adorable. I love all the details that comes on this dress. There's ruffles, there's lace, there's beadwork, there's jeweled work everywhere. It's just, it looks great. Even like, look at that stitching right there. That looks so good. And I love that the hair accessory has these beads instead of the little loops, so it is specific to this hairstyle. So here she is, dyed all black. There are a couple spots that are not dyeable, but it's nothing egregious. There is like gold glitter inlay, this giant pearl right here on the dress. And let me see down below. I think the shoes are fully dyeable. So yeah, it's nothing bad. I don't know how I feel about this entire collar right here and how kind of like glittery it is with the black on it. It does make it look very gray, and that is the only issue I have, but I don't typically have this dress dyed black anyway, so it's not too much of an issue. But for our hair, we do actually have 2 dye slots, which is hard to see from the like display of it, but the first is going to be the bulk of it, and there is a very cute little ombre and then this little piece of chunk of hair right here in the second dye slot that I think is super cute. For our handheld, we do have 5 dye slots, the first of which is going to be the box itself. The second is all of the lining and the inner part of the dumplings up there. Our third is going to be the light that comes off of those things. It does kind of have like a lava lamp light effect, like it's flickering. Slot 4 is the outer part, and slot 5 is the decor on the outside of the box. For our dress, we do have 6 dye slots. The first is going to be the ombre on this part right here. The second is going to be a big bulk of the dress right there, and with that ombre, it looks like this, which I think is really pretty. I love the fade between this on the sleeve specifically, maybe because it's also sheer, but I think it looks really good. It also does look really good on the center of the dress too. Our third is more of the dress, kind of like the opposing parts to what was able to have that ombre on it. Slot 4 is our lace and the big bow on the back. Slot 5 is your detail work on the sleeve, and then this little like medallion right here, or brooch if you want to call it that. We also have the metal work on the back, and slot 6 is your details right here. I do believe I missed when these like hanging pom-poms and then the flowers right here got dyed. It was with slot 3 we get our pom-poms and then these flowers, which do kind of look like they have almost an overlay dye to them. They look kind of more purpley than they do red. Yeah, there's like a lightener to them. For our shoes, we do have 4 dye slots, the first of which is going to be your cloth, like, or maybe not cloth, this kind of reminds me of silk almost. Our second is going to be this little ribbon and lace right here. Also the base of the shoe and the lace on the bottom. Our third is going to be some of the pearls and the lining on the shoe, as well as the metal work up here. And our fourth is going to be the bottom of the shoe. For our socks, we do have 3 dye slots. The first is going to be the sheer netted part. Our second is going to be this lining up here around the top part, and I don't think it does anything else. And our third is going to be the detailing. For our hat, we do have 3 dye slots, the first of which is going to be the base color. The second is the lace, the detailing, and the ribbon. And the third is that stitching on the bun part. For our hair accessory, we do have 3 dye slots, the first of which is going to be the leaves. The second is going to be the big, like, fruity pearls. And the third is going to be the other half of those. Actually, there's some little gold flecks on them that I didn't notice before, maybe because of the hair buns cover it up. And this hair accessory is specific to this hair, so if you were to take this hair off, they do just turn into these 2 little clumps of, are they currants maybe? Or persimmons? I honestly can't tell. Even with the default dyes, I can't tell what fruit they're supposed to emulate. And the description is no help either. For our earrings, we do have 3 dye slots. The first is going to be your pom-pom and bead. The second is going to be your metalwork. And your third is going to be more of those beads. For a bracelet, we do only get 2 dye slots. The first is going to be the bottom part, which I love the way it dyes. It is so pretty. And your second is going to be the metalwork. But she is a very, very cute suit. And I do like the pieces individually. And we don't really get too many Chinese suits that are short and cutesy like this, so I am so happy to have it. Here's our Hearty Fox 4-star outfit. On the sleeves are all these little fox faces. You have a giant bow in the front on the coat that has more fox faces and little stars. The buttons on the top are paw prints. The fox is also on the skirts. And then your shoes has a little fox holding balloons. And of course the little hairpiece is so cute. And here she is all black, so there are parts of it that you cannot dye, like the blush on the fox's ears, this one button on the jackets, and everything on the shoes is dyeable, which is nice. So I think that is it for this one that you can't dye, which is not too bad. For our coat, you do get 3 dye slots. The first is going to be the majority of the coat. Your second is going to be part of the foxes and the little cape. And your third is going to be the bows. For our top, you do only get 2 dye slots. The first is everything. And the second is the little paw prints. For our skirt, it is also only 2 dye slots. You get the base and the little line. For our shoes, you get 4 dye slots. The first is going to be part of the base. The second is going to be the other part of the base. The third is your metalwork. And your fourth is the little fox faces. And for our hair pieces, you only get 1 dye slot. They dye together. I do like the top. Like I mentioned before, it's not a crop top. So it does like tuck into pants and everything. But there is some of them where it won't do the tuck thing, like these shorts right here. Versus like the other like kind of athletic looking shorts it does tuck into. So you will have some variance. I'm not sure what the deciding factor is for what makes it tuck and what doesn't make it tuck. And some of them, obviously the tuck will change depending on how high the bottoms are. So the tuck happens way at the second button versus like on these pants it happens down at the lower button. For our little green spot, it is not fully dyeable per se. It has like this weird white ombre on it. I think it's meant to lessen the amount of dye slots needed. So it kind of looks more sprout-like instead of having this be a color option down here. But I don't know. It's not something you use too often, but it can be a nice little touch if you need it. And for our sweet greetings little face bows, disappointingly there's only 1 dye slot. All 3 of them dye at once, which is no fun at all. It's a 6-star piece. I do believe at 6 stars each bow should have had its own dye slot. And then for our rhythmic song glasses. These ones I love. Like I said, the monocle piece. The first slot is going to be your metalwork, and the second slot is going to be the 2 pearls. I would have loved if instead of being a straight bar that went over the left side of the face, it was a heartbeat zigzag line, you know, like you see on heart monitors. I think that would have been so much cooler, and it just feels so boring having this straight line over here. It just doesn't look good to me, and I wish it could have been more exciting. And here's our 5-star dress, Sunny Heart. There is only 2 die slots. The first is going to be your little blouse, and the second is going to be the like little overall dress skirt thingy. I'm not sure what those are called, but it's a cute little dress. But it is only 2 die slots, so that to me makes it seem like it's a 4-star dress. And here's our skirt, Heart Journey. There are 3 die slots. The first is going to be your base. The second is going to be these bows on the side. And your third is going to be the decals and then the eyelets, making it fully dyeable. And it is a nice match to the Heart Hunt top. I do believe these were part of like a little secret set. And here is our Butterfly Love bracelet. She has 2 die slots, the bulk of it right there. And then your second is the stitching, which I really like. I'm glad that they gave us that extra die slot for the stitching to add some character to it. And here's our necklace, Fiery Passion. The first die slot is going to be your band and the chain right here. And your second is going to be the metalwork and the cross-stitch heart. And here is our gemstone banquet dress. I'll be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of this, but I just had so many decom coins left over that I didn't want anything else, and this was just sitting there staring at me, so I thought might as well. It just feels a little unfinished to me. It feels very barren up here. Like, I feel like these sleeves should have something else going on with them. Like, this is a decom dress, and usually those are like all lacy and flowery, and this one just kind of looks very plain compared to the decom dresses that we usually get. It almost reminds me, you know those cake dolls? I'll put up a picture, but like it reminds me of those. Like, this is like, her dress looks like it's made out of fondant almost, if that makes sense. Here she is dyed all black, and I do say I like it better black. Maybe that's because black just makes things look better. But there is 5 dye slots, and you can't dye the glitter on this one. But the first dye slot is going to be this part right here, just your upper section. Your second is going to be this singular cloth flower right here. Your third are the sequins inside of the rose, and then these set of arches right here. Your fourth is going to be the base of the bottom of the skirt. And your fifth is going to be the ombre that is on those like little poofy pillow parts. But I do like it with the red and all of it black. It looks a little ominous. A shame that I do not have the veins to do this, and I'm not going to spend any more on this light chase because I don't know, I don't like this dress enough to want to, like, I like the skirt. If it didn't have this top section right here, I would go all in just for this skirt right here to be able to be dyed like this. But I don't like that top half of that dress. Now, what is good is that the sleeves can be clipped off to add, you know, some detail where it is lacking. So that's nice. Obviously, it won't work with all of the coats. And here is our Palace fan. A very decorative little hand piece. It is not fully dyeable. Some of these pearls have like that weird casing on them, but your first dye slot is going to be some of the pearls. Your second is those pearls inside the weird casing, and then more pearls down here. Your third is going to be part of the metalwork. Your fourth is more of the metalwork. And your fifth is more of the like detailing that goes around. I think this is almost like a wicker type material. Something like that. A pretty piece. I don't use it too much. And here are our Ace Advanced boxing gloves. There's only 2 dye slots, the first of which is going to be the base of the glove, and the second is going to be all of the details that decorate it. They are fully dyeable, which is great. You can do a dynamic pose and they will work with the dynamic pose instead of your hands just being stuck in a certain position, you know? And here's our Broken Flames contacts. I think these are cute. I do like the splattered heart pupil, though I kind of wish they didn't fade out into like that purpley blue. I wish it kind of faded out into a darker black. I think that would have made the heart pop a little bit more and make it a little more fun. And here's our contacts, Illusion Twins. These are lovely contacts. I'm so happy that they are animated. The pupil in them is really big, but I think that's really cute. I like the duotone pink and blue. I think that's adorable, and the stars shooting out, and plus they look great on the black sclera too, so that's always a bonus. And here are our contacts hitting gold. They do have a light shimmer that goes over the gold leaves that center around the pupil, which is really pretty. There is that ring around the dark sclera though, so you do have that, but it's not too bad, not bad like some of the other ones. I think these are really pretty. It does look like there's an inner glow coming out of them. They're very nice. And here is our facial paint Abyss Trap. Again, if it's paired with the Broken Flame contacts, they are sort of a match. Like I said, I wish the contacts would have been darker so that it could match the outer ring of this facial paint more, because they don't really match too much, and I think they're meant to match or at least go together somewhat, but they just don't, because there's no blue in the facial paint and the contact is full of blue. But that's my own personal preference. And here's the facial paint on the darkest skin tone. A bit harder to see, but I also really like how you can just see the heart from a distance. I think that's really cute. And on the palest shade in the game, not too bad. Her face is a little wonky, so it looks a little stretched out, but it's fine. And here are eyelashes, Spider Dream. They are little spider webs, which is super cute. Very good for like Halloween looks and spooky looks. And they go great with that spider set that's going out right now. And here is our Card Game Queen lipstick. We do have 4 shades and an option to have the overlay off. Our 4 shades are Scarlet Metal, Rhyme Flame, Forest Hunt, and Residual Warmth. Not bad colors at all. Here's our first slot all the way up and all the way down, second slot down and all the way up, third slot up and all the way down, fourth slot down and all the way up. Alright, and as for the furniture piece, I do have 2 of them out actually at my house. This one is full of gold and the other one I have flipped upside down right here. But the piece does cost 15,000 chestnuts, almost 16,000, and it is a massive fountain, which I instantly fell in love with. I had no idea it was going to be this big whenever I first got it. I thought it was going to be smaller, but it also gets really big, which is cool. It can't fit on your lot, I don't think, at the biggest size unless you have one of the bigger lots. But it also can be tiny and cute. It is a lovely piece and it matches my aesthetic clearly, so it was a must for me. Now, as for our scene Bamboo Waterfall, it is actually fairly big and well thought out in my opinion. It is one of those scenes where if you're messing around with its photo settings too much and Halo comes in, you will get those black holes where the light is supposed to be hitting. I don't know if it'll happen today, but this is one of those scenes where it does happen to me quite frequently. But I do love the waterfall back here, and even though this area is a little underdeveloped, I do like it from a distance. Like if you were all the way back at the starting point and you were to look over, it looks fine, it looks great, and you can even pose from down below and have like an angled shot up, and it still looks good. I also really like the bamboo and the sunlight that filters through. It's lovely. And what I like the most is the sink on it. You can go so deep into this scene. It's great. If you look at it, she looks like a floating head. My goodness, that looks crazy. So I really do like it for that alone, you know. You can definitely get those water shots. You can also raise her up quite high. Not that I think you would really need to. She's very far up there. But you can if you just wanted to. And here's your posable area, quite large compared to some of the other decom scenes that we've gotten. I do like how much we can play around in this one, and obviously again how low the sink is awesome. You can actually also see some of the assets down below. The very background assets are very clearly just images that they have being warped. I do like this waterfall in the back though. It does look really nice. Again, it is a floating isle up here. But the trees are pictures, but I think the rocks might be 3D assets. Specifically the ones by this waterfall in the back. I think those are 3D. Even these couple of trees in next to the waterfall are 3D assets, while the other ones are 2D. At least that's what they look like to me. This is your lighting from the front, from the right, from the back, and from the left. And here's the lighting on the palest and darkest shade. I think it looks lovely on both of them. And now I'm going to click through the filters so you can see how you might be able to change the ambiance of this scene. And for our retouch settings, I do think this is one of the scenes where you can definitely change like the time of day with all of these settings that you can move and adjust, especially with some of the filters. Like I really like the scene with the ocean filter on it. It's really, really pretty. And DOF works wonderfully in this scene because of how long it is. It's gorgeous. It looks so dreamy in the back too. The way like the little firefly light particles are floating around in the waterfall and the sunlight. Oh, it's gorgeous. And our temperature. And our saturation. Very, very green if you need it to be. And our contrast. I don't think DOF ever undid itself. Yeah, sometimes DOF gets stuck. I don't know if that's ever happened to you all. As for posing in hotspots, I have posed all over this scene. I have been in the bamboo over here. I have been in the waterfall, and definitely I've been in the water. I have been up here on these little wooden bridges, because I find that really cute, especially if you drop this down. I don't know, I just think it's adorable. It is a little bit kind of like off scale for your doll, but it does look like a fine enough footpath that I don't mind it at all. And again, you can be in this bamboo over here as well, and it is like a really nice looking bamboo too, so it's good for pictures. You do hit a bit of light right here, like it's on your doll. I think it's coming from the street that comes from the upper left, but you can move her kind of like, you see it right there. She's out of it, then she goes into it, and then she's out of it again. So it is like this light streak up this way that comes down. I like this grass over here too. I like how thick and full it looks from certain angles. I mean, clearly there are some patches over this way, but over here it is so cute. It is one of the scenes with a lot of wiggling though, but my computer handles it fairly well, so it still runs nicely. I kind of thought the scene by now would have done the weird like blackout halo glitch that it does sometimes when I'm in there for too long taking photos, but it hasn't done that yet, so maybe they fixed that bug. But if it does come up, don't worry, you can still just take your pictures as normal and they will come out looking fine. Overall, a grade A scene, one of the better decom scenes for sure. But yeah, that's everything I have for the Daybreak Abyss light chase. I hope you found this helpful and useful in deciding if you would like to pull on it or not. And because there is that new light chase that's coming up, I don't know if you guys have seen the spoilers for the one that's in MYSG right now or about to be. I think they update tonight. But it looks amazing and I am super excited. I cannot wait. I'm crossing all my fingers, all my toes that we get it because it looks so cool. Anyway, I'm digressing a lot. I have other things I need to do. So I will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.